aphorisms. So we start with the first aphorism, so famous amongst all the homeopathic fraternity. That is the first aphorism, mission. The physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure as it is termed. All of you know that. We will not go into the detailed discussion, but I would like to highlight all the following points. So this first aphorism is on mission. So Hahnemann is very clear in his aim and goals as a homeopath, that what is expected from a homeopath to achieve as a homeopathic physician in his career. Okay, so first important is about the concept of disease. So the most important is that Dr. Hahnemann focuses our attention to the concept of disease, and what he says is disease originates in the interior of man, and it's a morbid vital process, not just the visible pathology. Dear students, just repeat and repeat and repeat this sentence, and you will find that this is the core of homeopathy. In final year, now you must learn and grasp what are the fundamental aspects of homeopathy. So disease originates. Where it originates? In the interior of man. Kant says it originates in the invisible interior of man. It's a morbid vital process. Why the term important here is the vital process. So it's a process taking place in a living organism. And disease is not just the visible pathology. So time and again we will have to refer to this statement about the concept of disease in homeopathy. Okay, now in the footnote of aphorism number 1, what is mentioned is the theoretic medicine. Now what he gives this name as theoretic medicine to the current practice of medicine in his times, that he calls it as old school practice, that is he names it as theoretic medicine. It is based on empty speculations, hypothesis. So it is not based on any law and principle. It is called as old school medicine, and it has a materialistic approach. Materialistic approach means what? The disease is just the visible pathology. So this is the materialistic approach. The organ pathology, disease is equal to organ pathology, is the meaning of materialistic approach. So Dr. Hahnemann says begin now. So all of us now begin to treat the patient and not the disease. We change our terminologies. We are not treating the disease, we are treating the patient. And disease is for us not just organ pathology, but the patient before that organ pathology. Patient before the organ pathology means his mental and physical symptoms also important, and they are considered in the concept of disease. They are considered in the picture of disease. So all of us, dear students, we begin now to accomplish our mission. So we go to the second aphorism, that is ideal cure. All of you know that what is ideal cure. The highest ideal of cure is rapid, gentle, permanent restoration of health in its whole extent, in most reliable way, and on easily comprehensible principles. So remember, if you have attended Dr. Sanjay Modi's seminar, he had come in the January month in this year, that he says that these words which Dr. Hahnemann has written, rapid, gentle, permanent restoration, this is not written alphabetically. He focuses our attention that rapid, first is R, then gentle, that is G. So it is not written alphabetically. So Hahnemann expects the cure should be rapid. Rapid means fast. So the most important aspect of cure, it should be fastest. Okay, so what is ideal cure? It is rapid. The cure should be based on law of similia, because now we focus our attention to the last two words on easily comprehensible principles. So cure should be based on law of similia in homeopathy, which is the cardinal principle of homeopathy. So ideal cure, here all of you know, very times you are asked short note on ideal cure. So what is the cure expected by Dr. Hahnemann? Rapid, and the last two words, comprehensible principles. It should not be that the cold coryza is cured by steam inhalation is a cure. It is not a cure, it is just recovery. When this cold and coryza patient is having the acrid coryza and bland lacrimation, and you treat with allium cepa, and then patient is relieved of his sufferings, that is a cure, because the selection of allium cepa is based on law of similars. So this cure should be based on easily comprehensible principles, means the laws. So what is the law of homeopathy? The law of similia. Got it? So all of you are all well versed with this aphorism, first and second. First is about mission. So begin now to accomplish the mission. And how to accomplish the mission? By achieving ideal cure. So we go for the ideal cure. It should be rapid. It should be gentle. There should not be any harm to the patient. So this gentle word is with respect to the various procedures which were done at Hahnemann's time, that is venisections, draining of blood from the veins of the patient, and administrations of various medicines like cathartics, emetics, so that he is drained of his vital fluids. So this should not be the type of cure in homeopathy. It's not the cure. So it should be gentle, permanent. It should not be temporary elevation of the symptoms. So it is a restoration of health. We are restoring the health back to normal, and in its whole extent. It's not that just the temporary symptoms are removed, but patient is cured and reliable way. So it should be a reliable. So patient should have the trust on the homeopath, and because he is giving the medicines based on easily comprehensible principles, means the cardinal principles, law of similia, single dose, similar dose, minimum dose. So these laws very important in homeopathy. So follow this. So we are going to have a quick brief discussion on the aphorisms. So in final year, so what I want like you to focus your attention on this terminology, their understanding, and the concept behind this. So I told you that aphorism number 2, most important, the word rapid and easily comprehensible principle. Now just go to the previous slide of mission. So mission, we already discussed the concept of disease, the Hahnemann's name to the old school medicine, that is theoretic medicine, because it is not based on any law. Okay, and the physician's high and only mission to restore the sick to health, to cure. So the ideal cure first is mentioned also in the aphorism number 1. And as we go to the discussion of subsequent aphorisms, we will see that how slowly Hahnemann unfolds various concepts of homeopathy step by step, so that it is very easy for the students to understand what is actually the conceptual basis, the fundamental principles which are the foundation of homeopathy. So the first aphorism, physician's high and only mission is to restore the sick to health, to cure as it is termed. And second aphorism of ideal cure, they go hand in hand. And now the third one, that is the knowledges of physician. So physician has to achieve his mission by curing the patient. For this, what are the necessities of the physician? The knowledge of physician to achieve the mission, to achieve the ideal cure. So all of you already know various knowledges of physician. So first important is knowledge of disease. Second important is knowledge of medicine. Knowledge of medicine you will get from drug proving, from where the materia medica is constructed. Now, the next is the knowledge of posology, that is dose and repetitions, and to know the knowledges of obstacles to cure. So, to know the knowledge of disease, that is patient with his symptoms, with his disease symptom, because disease is a morbid vital process which we will discuss afterwards. To know the knowledge of medicines, that is we will get it from the materia medica, where the patients the drug proving is done on the healthy provers. So this is all these symptoms are noted in the materia medica, and we will have the selection of the remedy from this materia medica. So physician should have the knowledge of posology, that is dose and repetition, and he should be aware of obstacles to cure, because otherwise he cannot achieve the cure. He should have proper knowledge of the obstacles to cure. It can be with respect to the diet, it can be with respect to some occupation, it can be with respect to some other activities which patient is doing, which is not able to bring the cure. So he should be aware of the obstacles to cure. So we go to the next aphorism, that is the preserver of health. Aphorism number 4. What is the highlight? Preserver of health. Physician is preserver of health. Physician is called as preserver of health. First aphorism, mission, then ideal cure, then he should have the knowledges, and now fourth aphorism is he is preserver of health. So he has restored now, and now how he will preserve the health? So that's the guidelines which Dr. Hahnemann gives us, that if he knows the things that derange health, so he should know the causes of diseases. He should know the causes of diseases, the things that derange health. So he should know the causes of diseases in the patient. He should have that knowledge, that what is deranging the health of the patient. So he should have the knowledge of diseases, which is mentioned in the third aphorism, is having this. It is the causes of diseases he will be studying in the third aphorism only, when he is studying the knowledges of diseases. So here what is focus? Preserver. The health should be continued to be preserved. So physician should know the causes of diseases in the patient. And see, in the healthy person, if you go to the aphorism, what he says, Dr. Hahnemann says, physician is preserver of health if he knows the things that derange health and how to remove from the persons in health. That means what? Persons in health. So how to remove the causes from persons in health? That means from the healthy person. That is nothing but prevention. So how he will prevent the disease in the healthy persons? How he will prevent the disease in the healthy persons? That is, prevention is better than cure. All of you know this term. Prevention is better than cure. So he will achieve this. He will preserve the health in the patients as well as in the healthy persons. And when he is preserving the health in the healthy persons, it is prevention. Prevention is better than cure. So he will do this by optimum utilization or administration of the constitutional medicine, anti-miasmatic medicine, and genus epidemicus. Constitutional medicine he will administer after taking the case. Anti-miasmatic medicine he will administer if it's needed, and in cases of epidemic diseases, he will administer the medicine genus epidemicus. Now, during this period of pandemic of COVID-19, The importance of genus epidemicus, I think that each and every Indian by now knows that arsenic alb is acting as a preventive medicine, and all of them are taking this medicine, that is genus epidemicus. Okay. So next is aphorism number 5. What is mentioned in the aphorism number 5 is causes of diseases. Is causes of diseases. So what are the causes of diseases? Hahnemann gives the first important importance to the causes of chronic diseases. What are chronic diseases? The most important role of homeopathy is in the treatment of chronic diseases. So chronic diseases are caused due to fundamental cause. Now we'll see in the further discussions what are fundamental cause. So other causes of diseases are maintaining causes and exciting causes. So fundamental cause is the responsible for the chronic diseases. Maintaining causes are responsible for the what is called as pseudo-chronic diseases. What Hahnemann stresses the importance very much in the 5th aphorism only, that while you are treating the chronic diseases, you must give importance to patient's diet, mode of living, occupation, habits, social and domestic relations, his age, his occupation, his sexual function, and most important, his mental symptoms, means moral and intellectual characters. He will be also giving us the idea about the causes of acute diseases, that is called as exciting cause. So Dr. Hahnemann, he is so much step by step he is going. See, aphorism number 1, mission. Then what is the mission? Ideal cure, that's there in the aphorism number 2. Then aphorism number 3, to achieve ideal cure he should have knowledges. So physician should have full knowledges of disease, of medicine, knowledge of posology, and knowledge of obstacles to cure. Now 4th aphorism, preserver of health, that is cure and prevention. Now step by step he goes first to the causes of diseases. Why? Because the cause of disease should be dealt with. Then you are dealing the disease from the roots. That's why he gives the importance of causes of disease, and most important in the chronic diseases. So my dear students, you are going to take the case taking in the chronic case, and we are going to go into the detailed inquiry about patient's diet, mode of living, occupation, habits, social and domestic relations, that is his IPRs in the family, in the society, and in the work area. What is the age of the patient, his occupation, his exact nature of duties, what kind of work he is doing, his sexual functions, and the moral and intellectual characters, that means his mental symptoms. So you are going to do the case taking, and you are going to inquire into the details of patient's cravings, aversions, his data about the appetite, his data about the cravings, aversion, perspiration, his data on the stool, urine, in case of females, menstrual history, occupational history. So all these details very important, as they are playing the role in the chronic diseases, and the selection of remedy will be also having the importance while considering all these factors. So causes of acute disease called as exciting cause. Okay, so the most important aspect of cure is to treat the cause of diseases. So we'll go to the aphorism number 6, where it is mentioned unprejudiced observer. Who is unprejudiced observer? Physician is unprejudiced observer. So now, till now you are just doing mal observation, non observation, whatever is given. So we are not going to pay our attention only on that point. How do you go further? So physician is unprejudiced observer. So he will do the case taking. He will inquire into all the details which are mentioned in the aphorism number 5, and he will note the changes in the health of mind and body of patient by his senses. So it is not just that his compounder will note his patient's weight, patient's BP and patient's pulse. Physician himself will note the changes in the health of mind and body of the patient. Deviations from former healthy state of the now deceased individual, this information will be felt by the patient, observed by the relatives and physician. So all of you having this idea that totality is given by patient himself, observed by relatives, and which are observed by physician. Hence, it is called as case taking is done by physician by his senses. He will note down the minute changes in the facial expressions of the patient. He will note the minute data of his physical general symptoms, and also he will be taking the data on the patient's family, society and his work area, and how he is functioning in these three areas, so that the emotional aspect of the patient, the intellectual aspect of the patient is known to the physician, and this will help him to build a totality of symptoms which we'll be discussing in the next aphorisms. So that is the picture of the disease. So slowly now we are building up the picture of the disease. Okay, so we are moving further. That is called as portrait of disease. What is that portrait of disease? So the minute changes, the modalities, the patient's concomitant symptoms, each and every minute symptoms of the patient, they will be all noted by the physician. This constitutes the portrait of disease. Physician gives rational and radical treatment. So rational treatment, which is the nothing but the choice of simillimum based on logic. It is based on the truth, and the simillimum is able to give the ideal cure. He grasps the symptoms which are related to the interior of the organism. He grasps the symptoms of the patient which are related to the interior of the organism. Means what? They are invisible to the physician, but they are felt by the patient. And this is where the beauty of homeopathy, where we will give the importance to the symptoms of the patient which are of interior. Interior means what? The mind and body, the mental generals and physical generals. So these symptoms are never given any importance by the modern medicine physician. So craving eggs 3 mark. In a child, if it is craving pica 3 mark, it is not at all of any significance for the modern medicine physician. But it is of extreme significance for the homeopath that the child may be having the constitutional remedy such as calcarea carb. So we can have this idea by the knowing the importance of symptoms of mind and body, because they are of the interior of the organism, and they will help us, the physician, for the selection of the simillimum. The physician will grasp such symptoms which are related to the interior of the organism. Why he will grasp? They are helpful for the selection of the simillimum. The spiritual being produces the symptoms cognizable by physician's senses. What is spiritual being? That is our life energy. This will produce such symptoms, and they will be just appreciated by physician's senses. The old school physician, what he sees only the morbid symptoms of organ pathology and nothing else. He is least having any concern to the patient's craving, aversions, perspiration data, and his morals and intellectual characters, that is mental symptoms. So we go to the next aphorism, that is seventh aphorism, that is totality of symptoms. Totality of symptom is the outwardly reflected picture of internal deranged vital force. Disease is sum of symptoms which are due to the morbid phenomena of deranged vital force, and thus disease is not just the organ pathology. Disease is sum of symptoms which are due to the morbid phenomena of deranged vital force. Totality of symptoms are the sole indicators for the choice of simillimum. Totality of symptoms are the sole indicators for the choice of simillimum. Now, in the totality, which symptoms are will be indicating for the choice of simillimum? That will be again, they will be discussing next, when in the next aphorism. Now, for us, what is important is totality of symptom. Now, in the previous aphorism, we have already seen the portrait of disease. This portrait of disease contains all the symptoms of the patient which he has failed, which are the deviations from former healthy states, and now disease individual. So for example, patient says, now I am feeling weak, I feel nervous, I feel restless. They are all included in the portrait of disease, which is nothing but totality of symptoms. So it is the outwardly reflected picture of internal deranged vital force, that is life energy. So all these symptoms will be collected. They are very important for the homeopath. So now what is important? Which symptom the most important for the homeopath for the choice of simillimum? The patient's mental symptoms and physical general symptoms. And organ pathology is not the basis of choice of simillimum for a homeopath. The organ pathology symptoms have their own importance that we will be discussing afterwards. So for this aphorism, what is important is totality of symptoms is nothing but outwardly reflected picture of internal deranged vital force, which has mental general symptoms as well as physical general symptoms, which are of the patient himself and nobody else. And of course it also has the addition of physical particular symptoms which will be of the organ pathology. So the sum of these symptoms constitutes the morbid phenomena. Morbid means diseased phenomena of deranged vital force. And aphorism number 8, that is removal of symptoms is removal of disease. And here in this aphorism, the most famous comment by Hufeland, that is homeopathy removes symptoms but disease remains. Homeopathy removes symptoms but disease remains. So first accusation had come from Hufeland. He was a old school physician that he had blamed Hahnemann that your homeopathy removes symptoms but disease remains. So Hahnemann very strongly has been able to give the answers for these accusations, that cure is removal of morbid symptoms and disappearance of signs. So when the symptoms are removed, patient is cured. Why? Because the symptoms are nothing but the morbid diseased phenomena. So when the symptoms are removed, the disease is also removed. No disease remains then once symptoms are removed. Dr. Kane says that just a reference is removal of totality is removal of even causes, because totality contains causes along with symptoms. Remember, dear students, very important statement. Totality is of symptoms, and symptoms are also having their causes within themselves. So totality is nothing but the causation, modalities of the symptoms. So when symptoms are removed, patient is cured. The seventh aphorism is also having that the causa occasionalis, that is the exciting cause and maintaining cause. So this is also mentioned in the aphorism number 7. So maintaining causes act as obstacle to the recovery. For example, if the patient is staying in the damp cellars, his asthma will not get cured. So all such examples you are all well aware, and this will be the called as causa occasionalis. Always you get a short note on causa occasionalis. It contains exciting causes and maintaining causes. And aphorism number 8, all of you know, removal of symptom is removal of disease. This Hahnemann has mentioned in relation with the Hufeland's comment, homeopathy removes symptoms but disease remains. Now, what is the answer? Dr. Hahnemann gives, no disease remains when all the symptoms are removed. Yes, so today we have discussed aphorism number from 1 to aphorism number 8. So a short discussion on these aphorisms, first to 8. I want all of you to go through it again and again, and because these aphorisms you had learned from first year. Now what is the next, what is the new insight you are having now in the final year is the conceptual basis of homeopathy. What homeopathy is, what is the concept of disease in homeopathy, what is the importance of symptoms, what are the various accusations homeopath and Dr. Hahnemann had in the past, and how we are going to tackle this. So all this new angle of your thinking is being, it should be developed when you are discussing now all these aphorisms again. And please pay the importance of this, please pay your attention, as they are highly important. Aphorisms are very meaningful, full of meaning, and you will understand each time new, in a newer way when you are reading the aphorisms again and again. So this lecture was till the aphorism number 8, and I want you all to learn it again and again, because in the introduction only I have told you that the subsequent aphorisms are connected to the previous. So our journey has already started from aphorism number 1, and we have to reach till aphorism number 291. So I want you all to be well versed with these aphorisms, so that in our next discussions you will be with me with these discussions of the subsequent aphorisms. Thank you.